Hey guys, I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah, I think so. Put on my headset just in case. Draw a sand tiger today. Thank you for showing up. Make sure you have a piece of paper. Make sure you do something with your pencil. Get kind of a point on it by rolling it around. I'll show you what I did here. I just took this and got kind of a point on it, but not too much of a point that's going to break off every time I press down. Right? So sand tiger, I'm going to draw. And it starts like a lot of them start with an oval. This is a sand tiger, kind of a shark animal. It's called the sand tiger, though. The way it's colorations. And you're going to put a point on it. This is going to be the head end of it. Maybe put a little bit more of a rounded thing, but not too much. Not too much. It's going to be shaped like a fish. Right? Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe a little bit more of that. How about that? You have the tail. It's going to come like this. Hmm? It's going to point outwards like that. This is a specialized, this fish has a specialized tail. It kind of comes out like that. This is sort of like our thresher shark that we drew, but the tail is not as pronounced. Smooth these lines out. Take your time. Smooth the lines out. It's important that you take your time to get the perfect one. So in here we have gills. Maybe a little longer. Gills in there. The eye is way up here at the top of its head. I'm going to take this. I take the top off here so I have a kind of a sharper edge to clean up back here. It's more like it. Because when I put that mouth in here, it's going to start here. Going with this pectoral fin. Kind of comes off the body right about here. And it has two sets of dorsal fins and there's pelvic fins down here. And there's actually a fin that's on top of its tail. We'll get to that eventually, but this particular shark. This shark, I've turned this mouth upturned, but this shark has a more ferocious look to it. So I'm going to change this mouth a little bit so it's turned down a little bit in the back. Makes it feel a little bit more menacing. A little bit more menacing. And the second dorsal fin happens right about here. If we put an imaginary line there, comes up here. This is actually the first dorsal fin. I'm going to pull this down a bit. Oops. Like that. Sharky. Lining it up. Tighten this up a little bit. I'm going to make this a little stronger down here at the end of the fish by moving that line down a little bit. Right about here, we have another pectoral fin. And yet another. Have a second dorsal fin. Straighten this out because I have to put another kind of a tail fin on top of this tail. It's a strange little creature. Has an extra fin for steering around. Probably some fast movements, but this kind of arcs up, comes down, and then meets the tail. And the tail comes down like this. It has the special fin there. Okay, pretty much the basis of the whole shark there. Now we're going to spend a little bit of time shading, probably spend more time shading on this one. And this one has some decoration in it, like leopard spots, which I guess is where it gets its name. So, but we're going to darken it up the edges because I think I have a pretty good edge here. And the other problem is, to make this a YouTube video, I can't make it over 15 minutes. So you guys can spend as much time on it as you need eventually. You know. I will want you to send it to me. This fin has a little bit more of a cup in here like this, so I'm gonna maybe I should have left that alone. Something like that. So take your time to work on it. Do some erasing. It's very important. So I'm gonna do some shading across it, just barely touching the edge. And then remember, I told you can smear it a little bit, make it good, make it seem realistic. Very softly. But these fins are going to be pretty dark. But you want to smear them so they don't look like you can see the lines from the pencil. See, I can see those lines in that pencil. And then you smear it. The lines kind of fade. All right. Darken lines for the edges. Makes your subject pop. Lines. There's a line here. This is pretty dark. You can go outside the lines with your smearing because you're going to clean it up with the eraser. And you want to make sure that this is where your line is. You know, the dark part is the edge of the subject. This tail can have a little bit of a point here to really give it some style there, like that, right? That. Dark lines on every edge, right? Now, the decoration. Spots. Not too many, just enough to set it apart from the other sharks you've drawn. Maybe a finger in between each one, right? There's enough room for a finger. And mostly on the back, not so much on the underbelly, right? As you can only see half of this one. We'll darken this eye a little bit so it really pops. I'm going to straighten out this a little bit, and I'm going to erase the inside with the sharper edge of my eraser. I don't want these things to look like eyes, so they're kind of misshapen, like a leopard spot might be. Not exactly round. Smear, and then clean up. This should be dark. Smear. Line. Okay, make sure all the lines are darkened. That's a careful thing. And then clean up the edges. I'll be a little bit more clear with my name. Takes a minute, hopefully. And I'm going to date it. Now you can clean that up a little better, line it up a little better, shade it up a little better. These can be darker. So, you know, have fun working on it, make it, you know, make it your own. And there you go, the sand tiger. Take your time. It took me, I can only do 15 minutes, so that's at the end. But, you know, you can take a little bit more time.